welcome. And the first committee, the Working Conditions Committee, Kurt Brosdell.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Yes, I'm happy that I can present you today the new project of the Working Condition Committee, but please let me say some words before. First, I want to introduce these two ladies on my side. The lady in white is the long-term legal provider, legal aid and legal support of IMAGO, and she's very important for this project, which I want to present today. And the other one is Christina Busch, you know her, I think so. And the other one is Thea Adlung. She's a member of the Austrian board and also a member in the committee. And what I present now was elaborated between us three, but we hope that we can spread it over, and I think it will concern everybody. Let me say something at the beginning. We are talking about working conditions, but we are not a union. I think we are more than a union because we have visions. Unions normally have no visions, and I think visions in a time where everything is governed by brutal economy are very important. And what we want, I think visions are the reality of the future. And I think IMAGO should influence the future and not be overwhelmed by them. And what we are doing here, I think, is a way into future in working conditions. And I want to say something also. Working world in our profession is a kind of blueprint of the now existing working world and the future working world. So I think we have a lot of allies which can help us. So let me start now. What is our project? Our project is called SIG. Thank you. Our project is called SIG Art with a question mark. And we think that a lot of things are really toxic in our working world. We have exploitation, we have long working days, we have budget cuts, which is a big pressure to the person who are working at a film project. So as you see here, the members of the committee, and then on the other side, you see our motivation and you see our goals, yes? And our goals are clear. We want to build up global action addressing quality of work, the balance and working conditions. Then I have to put on my glasses, I'm sorry. So, then we have fair, equal, safe and sustainable working conditions and social security as a matter of human rights, public health, pension and social system. Pension is a very important point because we have a growing age poverty and also in our branch, yes. And then establish international standards for film and television production and creation of awareness on a European and international political level. What we are doing is at the moment and at the European level, or European field, but what we are doing is also very important for everybody, for all of the world. Let's see that Europe can be a kind of laboratory to develop new visions, and this is one of our important goals. Look, let us make a short trip into the past, in the history of IMAGO. And then there was, let me see, the big bang for our work, for our aims was the first IMAGO survey or about living and working conditions of cinematographers in Europe and on international territory. It was elaborated by Tony Costa, and it was elaborated also by our legal advisor, Dr. Christina Busch, and it was nearly the beginning. And then there was another very important event. It was in January 2019. We had a conference in Vienna called EUXXL Vienna Documents. It was elaborated. It was organized by EUXXL, which is an Austrian NGO, which has the best contacts to the European Parliament. And there it was the first time that directors, sound designers, editors, and set designers came together to talk about working conditions and improving the social situation of the film artists by demanding new economic parameters for filmmaking. And this means that we include also the production companies, because we think that especially young production companies know exactly that we have the need for a human working world. So in Austria, we made the experience that we have good contacts to this sometimes of these female producers, because they know exactly, they are better understanding what is the need. Yes, and you see, we had a wonderful weather in Vienna, and also the mood was very good, and it resulted in a resolution which is available on the web page of EUXXL, which is this organization. Maybe you know Mercedes Echerer. She is the boss of this institution, and she has the best contacts to the EU. Now, and then we got two honorable invitations for the EU Parliament in Brussels, and we had the possibility to explain our special working world, and then I also could explain that we are, as I told you, the blueprint for future working world, and that solutions find for our reasons are solutions also for working world in the future, because this is very important to explain to the politicians that this is not only a small sector, it concerns everybody. So I think we have a lot of allies. And then we had the possibility to demand a very important thing, binding fee catalogs for self-employed, because self-employment has increased all over Europe, all over the world. It's a symptom of the alteration of working world. And we have to answer in this. We have to reflect on this. We have to find solutions, especially for people which are not protected by any social right. And this is these are the self-employed. Yes, and then we had in July here in Cinecittà a meeting of the committee where we had the task to develop proposals for implementation working conditions in the media program. And it was, I think, successful, because now in the media program you get only subsidies if you have a fair remuneration, a fair working world. And this is, I think, very important. If you get a public or subsidies coming from a public body, it's very important to have social rights and fair working conditions. And then there happened a bad accident. You remember in October 2021, there was the tragic death of Halina Hutchins. She was shot during a shooting by her director. He was also director and actor. And then we said from the Working Condition Committee, we have to react to this, we have to do something. And we elaborated an urgent call. And this urgent call was a very interesting thing, because for the first time, cinematographers of all over the world signed this urgent call. And this urgent call was published in Europe, also published in the United States. We had some speakers, some talks together with American journalists, which were very interested in what we are doing. And this urgent call, let me say, was the first thing, the first matter of solidarity, and shows that we are stronger than we think that we are. So then in October last year, there was a very important conference organized by Art Scenico, the set designer, the European set designer, EFSI, the sound designers, then EUXXL organized it, then FERA, IMAGO, and Tempo. And for the first time, the most important umbrella organizations sat together in Madrid. IMAGO was represented by Agiris. Agiris was as the chair of the authorship committee because the main topic was authorship. But the working audition committee, we had the possibility to emphasize the necessity for come together and make a common white book. And this is the project I want to introduce you. We want to make a common white book with all umbrella organizations. And first we wanted to do a survey, but we found out that there are so many surveys, and in every survey is written sometimes the same, but also different. So we decided not to make a survey, but to make directly a white book to summarize all the demands, and this white book should be edited by all umbrella organizations. And I think this would be a very good sign to go outside and say that's our demands. And this is for Parliament, European Parliament, and for the Commission, and also I say as model or as best practice model for all associations all in the world. It's not only for Europe. It's very important to say this. And now I want to show you how what are the intentions in this project. First, it's very important that we get aware that we are working on a project, but without us, without the works of cinematographer directors, set designers, there would be nothing. And I think this awareness is very important to have, and because we say we alter the value. We don't work on the value, we alter it. Without it, nothing. And I think we should have this awareness and to stand together. And when we stand together, we can reach a lot, yes? And then with the help of Christina and Thea, we found out that there are 18 international studies. And it was a big work to make a research and to find out which are all the demands we need for our white book. And I think there are more surveys. It's work in progress. We have to find other surveys, and we want to summarize it. And this is a very important and very exhausting work, which we are doing now. These are the first results we found, that there we have more and more self-employed, working time not respected, overtime insufficient, and lack of rest. Future is considered uncertain because we have a lot of filmmakers and film creatives who are absolutely pessimistic. I told you we have a very big problem of age poverty. And then physical mental breakdowns are usual. Then of 25% to the disadvantage of women, we have still this gap between income, men and women, which is not acceptable. I think collective agreements are not often exist or are not often applied. And then we have many unions, but many of them are totally weak and ineffective. And what we want to do, we want to encourage all our colleagues all over the world to gather themselves and to create a new union or to make a strong professional association, because this is the only way to get these targets. And then we have found out that many of them are not employed, are not entitled to get unemployment benefits. This is especially the case of self-employed people. They get nothing, and we have to find new regulations. So this white book is called Sick Art. Is a working title. but I think it's exactly what we want to say. And you see, it should be edited by all these umbrella organizations. You see here our what we want to achieve, a global summary of the most various surveys, the first accredited way to clarify the needs, the first accredited way to summarize the expectations of creatives of the audiovisual sector, and the first global focus, I say global focus, to unify and canalize all recommendations made by different organizations, institutions, national, EU level, and international level. And the first step for a multi-stakeholder discussion, but it should be more a discussion. It should be a discussion which we find solutions. We need solutions. We have to discuss, but we have to discuss finding solutions. This is a very important matter. And then you see there's a lot to do now. We started our work, but there's a lot to do. We have to communicate with authors of the studies. We have to communicate with scientists. We have to communicate with other groups. And this is a hard work which we are doing now and which we want to continue. And I'm happy to have these two ladies behind me, because without them, it would be possible to do this. And I hope we get help also from other societies, because we need the input coming from you, because we want to learn from you. Yes, and then a good message at the end, because our mission in Brussels was successful, because last year the EU Commission, which is maybe the high priest of competition law, they jumped about its shadow, and the guideline called collective bargaining for self-employed. And this allows solo companies to collectively negotiate their fees, which means that the strict antitrust law no longer applies to them. And this is extremely important, because nobody in any country can say from now that it isn't possible. If the Commission in Europe say it's possible, we have the possibility in every country to implant it. And this is also interesting, I think, for many countries, maybe in the United States or in Brazil. Also, it is also important that we get rights for this group, which is increasing year by year. And at the end, I will say something which we have a good collaboration with the British cinematographer, which is a very good base to send out our message from IMAGO. And I had the possibility to write an article, and the title of the article was "Imagination as Evolutionary Power." And this is exactly, I think, what is important. We have fantasy, and fantasy is more as only to make stories or to create a painting or to create a film. Fantasy is a revolutionary power, because it enables us to see the world better as she is. And she's the basic for alteration. So please, I think, let's work our fantasy, and let's work together. Together we can reach everything. Thank you so much. Maybe you want to add something?
Hello to everybody. He has said everything what had to be said. I only want to invite every one of you, or that you, if you have knowledge of a survey of your local or national or European survey, so just give these dates to us, because it's really amazing that during the last 5 years I've seen now there have been 18 surveys, and they nearly come to the same result. So now I think it's time for IMAGO to be the one who really to make the effort to gather everything and to make this white book, which will be very, very important. But we need the input. If you have knowledge about your survey on your national level, please let us know. Nothing else. Thank you.
Thank
you very much, Kurt. Thank you, Christina, and thank you, Thea.